the creation now, I should like to point out one or two things. One is the something that a teacher of mine, Noam Meri, teaches a lot. It's the difference in storytelling, theatrical storytelling, the difference of what he calls the epic and the dramatic. Or you could also say the dramatic motive. Epic, in his sense, is not really related to what we understand as Brecht's theatre, the epic theatre, but it just means the establishment of a situation. So, in the beginning, for example, in Cinderella, which is, I think, what we're going to work on this afternoon, we get the situation of Cinderella being at home with her stepmother and her daughters. And so this is the situation that somehow we need to get people to understand, okay, this is the situation that we're in now. How explicit we do this can be very different, right? We can actually say it. We can have a storyteller who says, you see here now, Cinderella with her stepmother and so on. Or in this case, of course, you can also just, if people know Cinderella, maybe you can, just by showing how they interact, you can also establish the situation, and people who, because the story is so famous, many people will be able to relate, and even if they don't know the story, you can try to make it as clear as possible so that they get the hierarchy that is going on there, without maybe necessarily knowing immediately she's the new stepmom. But maybe you can also put in the father into the game, and then you see, okay, he's the father and he has a new wife. Maybe you also show the death of the mother before. I don't know, many possibilities. But somehow we need to establish the situation. And then the other part, the dramatic motor, is the impulse that gets the story into movement. So, for example, it could be the message that the prince is looking for a wife, and that all young ladies are invited to come to the big ball, so he can choose his wife. So this is really what gets the story going, right? Because everybody then starts, oh, I want to go there, and they try to make themselves very beautiful, and Cinderella also wants to go, but she's not allowed to, and this is really what pushes it forward. Yeah, and it's very helpful to think of this in two different steps. First, establish the situation, then bring the motor in. We need the motor for sure, because that's what makes the story, but we also usually, not necessarily, I'm not talking about I'm talking about really classical storytelling now. In really classical storytelling, we need also to see this, where we're starting. So we know where to, yeah, I think you get it. It's quite clear. Another thing that is really crucial in storytelling is that it has at some point a so-called life-changing event. Life-changing, meaning that the life of one person will never be the same as before because of this event. This is what brings the big drama to the story, and it also relates. It can be related to this crescendo, what we were talking about this morning in playing Groovilicious. So the getting something really to the peak until something breaks somewhere in the story, and something new has to be established. In Cinderella, of course, the marrying the prince in the end is one very big life-changing event. But maybe you will also find other moments. For example, the moment where the fairy comes, and there are different stories of Cinderella, different versions. In one, there is a fairy who makes sure that Cinderella is suddenly the most beautiful woman that was ever in this fairyland. And this, of course, for her is also a life-changing event, because at least if we want to make a strong character, it can make sense to have her had the experience that she was never beautiful in her life, and suddenly everything changes. What we think about this, different question. That's of course where the political work comes in. What do we think about this aspect of beauty and the way that beauty is pushed in this story? Many reasons to these two storytelling principles, the establishment, the motive, life-changing event, 3, the crescendo, 4. With these 4 principles, I think you'll be okay for the task this afternoon. It's a good starting point.